This show is sponsored in part by Miss Meow Clothing, offering quality custom clothing for the entire family. Coming soon. Brought to you by Miss Cat. Survival Mode Disengaged, hosted by Miss Cat, starts now only on Stunner Radio, the heart and soul of the culture.
Welcome in. It is your girl, Miss Cat, with another episode of Survival Mode Disengaged. And today, guys, today is the day for us to get our houses in order. It's a difficult market out there, maybe, I don't know. So that's why I brought on an expert so we could talk about it. But I know that one of the American dreams, right? The American dream, right, is to purchase a home one day, right? So I wanted to bring someone on today that we can have a real candid conversation so we could figure out what it's like to purchase a home 2022, 2023. What do we have to do to get our house in order? Okay. So as per our custom though, before we jump into, our conversation with our guests, we're going to first take a romantic walk to the bank where I give you a tip or trick that's going to help you, make a little money on the side. So let's jump right into that. And we're going to go ahead and get this party started.
Let's take a stroll and put some extra money in your pocket. Welcome to Romantic Walks to the Bank.
Hey everyone, it's your girl Miss Cat, and this is one of my favorite parts of the show where we get to take a romantic walk to the bank. Here, I'm going to show you a trick or tip on how you can earn some extra money outside of your 9-to-5. Now, it's not going to make you rich, but it's definitely going to help you put some extra funds in your pocket. So grab your pen and paper and take notes because I walk fast and you need to keep up.
The average household spends $273 per month on subscription services. And the worst part is a lot of people are paying for services that they haven't used for months. Enter Truebill, which can take hold of your subscription bills and can even save you thousands of dollars in the long term by negotiating those bills on your behalf. All right, let's jump right into it. What is going on, everyone? I hope you are all having a fantastic day. So there are a million different budgeting tools that we can choose from, many of which we have reviewed on this channel. But it's hard to say that Truebill is just another budgeting tool because in a lot of ways, it is so much more than that. Truebill is not sponsoring this video. However, if you do want to sign up for the platform and help support my channel, then I will leave a link for that down below the like button. All right, so there is a lot to unpack with this platform. So let's start off with the two features that really helped put Truebill on the map. The first of which would be their subscription management tool. The way that this works is really easy. You're just going to sign up for a free Truebill account, link your external credit cards and bank accounts using the Plaid system that many other platforms use and all of us are pretty familiar with. And from there, Truebill is going to identify your subscription services, outline what those subscriptions are truly costing you each month, and then help you identify the ones that you shouldn't be paying for. Not only is this a really easy way to view all of your subscriptions and stay on top of your upcoming bills, but Truebill has also canceled over 1 million subscriptions on behalf of its members, so you don't even have to worry about doing that yourself. They will literally handle that for you. And many Truebill users have saved hundreds, if not thousands of dollars from this feature alone. Now, the other core feature of Truebill, which again helped put them on the map, would be their bill negotiation tool, which, you guessed it, is going to negotiate your monthly bills on your behalf. We'll talk more in depth about the cost of Truebill later on in the video, but I do feel I should clarify that Truebill is free to download and start using the basic features, but the bill negotiation feature does come at a cost of 30 to 60% of what they are able to save you. And personally, I actually love that payment structure because what this means is you only pay them if they are able to save you money, meaning no matter what, you are going to have a net benefit at the end of the day. Because even if they're only able to save you $100 for the year, then yes, $30 to $60 of that will go to Truebill, but you are still netting $40 to $70 in savings when all is said and done. And the best part is you get to choose the amount between 30 to 60%, whatever you feel is appropriate for that service. So again, we'll talk about the more premium account options later on in the video, but with the bill negotiation feature, you're simply going to upload an image or connect your existing bill to your account, and the Truebill concierge is then going to get to work getting you the best rate possible on your existing bills, and that includes not only subscription services, but also your cell phone bills, cable bills, and all of the companies that usually have lengthy and frustrating customer support. Plus, they will even walk you through the process of getting a refund if you were charged an overdraft or late fee by your bank, which I am a huge fan of because, as you all know, I absolutely hate ridiculous banking fees. They even look for better rates on things like your car insurance, where you simply connect your existing insurance and they will then do all of the work for you and present you with the best options for your situation. And again, you have nothing to lose because they're only charging you a percentage of what they are able to save you. So no matter what, you are going to come out ahead.
Well, this concludes this romantic walk to the bank. I'll see you next week for another tip that can put some extra cash in your pocket.
All right. Well, welcome back. I hope you guys were taking notes. Truebill. All right. So for those that say that their bills are too high, get someone to help you negotiate them. That's what this is all about, is helping you to save money. So let's dive right in. I'm so excited. I know there's going to be so much information shared. So let's go ahead and speak to our special guest. I'm just ecstatic. So welcome. Let's get her in. How are you?
Let me unmute. I am good. Thank you so much, Ms. Kat, for actually having me on. You know, this is the right topic. Get your house in order, because right now, let me tell you, the market is changing.
I figured so. So I'm excited. I'm so excited. But before we talk about the market and what's changing and all that good stuff, go ahead and introduce yourself. For those that don't know you, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what it is that you do.
Well, I say that I save lives, I change lives, right? So I'm in real estate, and just give you a brief, summary of who I am. I have been in real estate since the age of 19. So I started with being an investor in 2 properties when I was 19. I immediately became a landlord. Loved it and hated it at the same time, right? I learned a lot. And so from there, I went on to the mortgage industry right around that 2005, 2006 era. Stayed in for a little bit until the market crashed around 2008. And I went back to work, right? I went back to corporate America, worked for oil and gas company for about 7 years, and then came back to what I love, right? And so what I love is real estate. What I love is helping people achieve something that they probably didn't think they could, but we actually find ways that you can, right? And so I've been back in the real estate industry with my real estate license for 9 years. I have a team of agents with me, and we are doing exactly that thing that I set out to do, which is change lives.
That's what I appreciate. Just, oh, yeah. So y'all got to understand that y'all are talking to one of the best. Y'all have access right now at this moment. So hopefully, there's some people that are live with us right now so they can get some of this juice and these nuggets live. But if not, definitely we can catch the replay. And so what I wanted to start off by asking, because this show is called Survival Mode Disengaged. And our goal of this show is just to help people get out of survival mode, get out of the chains and the shackles of the hustle and bustle, right? And so why do you think that it's important for people to even aspire? There's some people that don't even aspire to get a house. Like, why do you think, in your opinion, you know what I'm saying? And we're just talking this, so at the end of the day, those that are listening, you can take heed or not. You know what I'm saying? This is just us chatting, but just in your own opinion, why do you think that it's, something that people should aspire to do?
Well, I'm glad that you say that this is a casual conversation because I'm just going to be me authentically. Okay. And so my thing is with learning as much as I have in this industry, I've learned that and I focus on Black home ownership. Even though I'm a pro home ownership person, I will help anyone get a home. I will educate anyone to get a home and the importance of it. But my passion is in the Black community because we lack the information, the knowledge, and the drive to actually move forward with home ownership. Not only that, in NARAB, which is the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, we focus on getting individuals to understand the reason why we could not previously and why we should now, right?
Gotcha.
And so having that privilege to have the freedom to purchase property, unlike our ancestors, right? Having that ability, that is a big stride in our culture. But a lot of people don't understand the importance of it because they fear it. They fear the unknown. And so education is definitely a core component in everything that we do. And so why do I feel like it's important? Again, the Black homeownership rate has been the lowest it has been since the Great Depression. And you've heard me say this many, many times before because it's not changing. Over, I don't know, since the Fair Housing Act was passed in 1968, our ratios or our percentages has been a 30% consistent, 30% gap from other cultures. White, I can't really say Hispanic. Hispanic has dropped over the years, but also have surpassed us in the last 10 years as well, right? So we have a 15% gap with them. But at the same time, why is it when we have everything at our fingertips, why are we not taking advantage of the one thing that can help us build generational wealth in our families? Real estate is one of the 5 pillars of wealth, right? And that's one of the things that I focus on is because that's where you're going to gain momentum, you're going to gain the knowledge, you're going to gain the assets, the equity, right, in your property so you can utilize that to project, or should I say, move your family forward. And there's so many ways to do that. You don't have, if you don't want to be a homeowner, no problem, but own real estate.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And I say that only because you know we had these conversations before. Some people don't want the hassle. They don't want the commitment of saying, okay, I bought this house to live in, and what if I want to move? What if my job changes? What if I get transferred? What if I want to move out of the state, out of the country? Whatever. I get it. Even if you don't want to, own the property that you live in, own real estate so that that other property that you purchase can pay for your apartment or wherever you want to live.
For sure.
Right? Utilize that because it's a stepping stone. Other cultures do it. We need to do it too.
And then on top of that, like you said, building the generational, wealth and things of that nature, even just thinking like, let me leave something to my kids instead of leaving them some J's and some couple of Gucci belts, you know what I'm saying?
Or bills.
or bills, right? Why not want to aspire, to leave them some property, or just having that family home to where it can be passed down, from generation to generation, just things like that I guess that us we just don't think about. Like, you gonna leave them your apartment, like what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's just something to consider. So for those that are new, and like you said, fear, right? Sometimes it's just fear. So give us some tips, or I guess like for those that are starting from scratch, maybe they're fearful, maybe they just don't know where to start. Where will we start in that process? Like, if I want to purchase a home, what will be step one? Well, how do I get this party started?
That's a great question. So the first step is knowing your status, like knowing a little bit about your profile, right? And I say that meaning your credit score, number one. What is your credit score? a lot of people I talk to that say, oh, I want to buy a home. I ask them what their credit score, and they say, I don't know. That is scary, right? That's scary because this is the one thing that individuals are going to judge you on in order for you to get approved or for them to lend you money. When you're going into the bank, nowadays, we're just going to say minimum of $200,000. You're asking someone, some stranger, to give you $200,000, and you're saying, okay, well, how are you going to figure out, if I'm worthy of paying you back, right? And so that's the only way. Credit. Like, this is a matrix that shows individuals who do not know you, that's taking a risk on you, say, okay, I think based off these things that they've done in the past, paying bills on time, not having collections, things like that, I'm willing to give this person a chance and give them $200,000 to purchase a home, something that they're going to have to live in, roof over their head, something that's as major that most people take care of, right? And so credit score is number one. That's number one. And so a little bit about credit score. I say you can purchase a house if you have a 580 credit score.
Okay.
But I prefer you to have a 620 and above. And I say that because there are some products out there that you can get approved with a 580. But when you have a 600 or a 620, you have more options. You have more loan products that's available to you, such as down payment assistance programs. You're not eligible for a down payment assistance program unless you have a 620 or you go through a special product like like NACA or somebody, right? But for the most part, 620 is your goal.
620. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we just stay with 620. Anything above that is great. Then you move over to your other loan products like your conventionals, which give you other options. And for my self-employed individuals who don't file their taxes properly, you want to go the conventional way. And if you have to do bank statement loans, just do bank statement loans. Just note that your down payment will be higher. You will not qualify for down payment assistance, but you will be able to purchase a home and build equity. Start building your generational wealth.
For sure.
So that's number one, credit.
Credit. Okay. And so once I get my credit, because we talked, so for those that have been following this show, we already talked about credit. So y'all already got all the tools and tricks on how to get your credit right, hopefully. And if you don't, go back and watch that episode. So now that I got my credit right, I got me at least a 620. What's next?
Knowing what you can afford, right? Okay. So affordability is definitely key. And getting with a real estate professional, right? That's who's going to educate you of what's going on in the market. So you can have some realistic expectations when walking in here. There's many people who say, okay, I want a $300,000, $400,000 house. Let's just say $400,000. Okay, great. No problem. What monthly payment are you comfortable paying? Right? And so they'll tell me $1,500. I was like, okay, well, that's not going to work. Okay. Because your mortgage payment comprises of your principal, which is the price of the home, your interest that you're paying the loan or the lender for loaning you the money, your homeowners insurance, and your taxes. So all four of those things are inside of that one monthly payment. And so when you come in, say $1,500, then I'm going to tell you realistically, based off of my experience and what I've seen in the market, especially with high interest rates right now, we'll talk about that in a little bit, you're probably only going to be able to afford a $180,000 house, $200,000
maximum. Gotcha.
With $1,500. And so $1,500 isn't going as far as individuals.
Yeah. Back in the day.
And it's mainly because of the market, right? So housing has really increased in value. So it's been a positive and a negative for many people. Positive for the sellers because they're having equity out of everything. And so that's great. But then think about it, sellers are also buyers, right? And so
Yeah,
those
because they
buyers,
have to buy something to, once they get rid of, where are they gonna go? Yeah, so that makes sense.
right. So just think about it. So the prices are increasing, and like I say, it's positive and negative. It's negative because individuals that I've been working with for several years have been doing everything that they possibly can to get to a place where they can afford to purchase a home. They have the desire, they had the will, they've been doing everything that they needed to do, getting their credit up, saving for a down payment because that's important as well, making sure you have emergency funds after you have your down payment and all the closing costs that you needed to close. But then they're no longer able to purchase because they're priced out of the market. So
Gotcha.
houses went up extremely, like it went up a lot from 2000, the end of 2000 to the beginning of 2002, 2022. The market had a rate of 18, 19% increase. In some markets, it was even as much as 21% increase in pricing. And so that's a huge, huge gap from where individuals could have purchased a $200,000 house. That same house now is going for 260,
Yeah,
280.
gotcha,
That's
gotcha.
crazy. And
Yeah,
so again, that increases the amount of money you have to bring to the table. That increases the amount of money you'll have to pay for your mortgage payment, everything. And so again, that was the negative with the market changing. And so it is very important to understand what your monthly payment, what monthly payment you can actually afford, so that we can give you realistic expectations
expectation
on
for
what's
you.
out here for you to purchase, right?
Okay.
So that's
And
number two.
okay, so we get our credit right. We know, okay, I can get this much house. This is the house that I can afford.
Yes.
And then from there, obviously, you want to, through this process, the whole process, you want to have a real estate agent that's guiding you, through all of this anyway. But tell me about the piece of down payment, earnest money. Like, what's the realistic expectation on that part?
So you didn't mention about the agents, so I just want to back up just a little bit. Tell
Okay.
y'all that we are in the city of Houston and surrounding areas. There's over 100,000 licensed individuals. Not everybody knows what they're doing. Just saying. But for those individuals who get with a knowledgeable agent,
Like
please
Miss
make sure.
Wells.
Yeah, please not going, okay? No, but seriously, I don't care who it is, me or anyone else, but please get with someone who knows what they're doing, because this is one of the largest transactions you will ever do, right? So after you have your credit score in order, after you have the realistic expectations of what you want to spend per month, you have your agent, you're wanting to make sure you have savings, right? And these are the things that you need to prepare for. You need to prepare for your down payment. Have that saved. It's great to have more than what your down payment is, because let's just go with FHA. FHA is a 3.5% down payment loan.
Hmm.
So if we're looking at a $300,000 house, because that's, where
Where
our
the market
average
is.
home sales
Yep.
at, right?
Hmm.
So we're going to do a $300,000 house. So $300,000 house at 3.5%, you're looking at 10,500, and that's just for the down payment,
Wow.
right?
Okay.
And so with that down payment, that's one thing. But then there's closing costs. So closing
Mm.
costs, people they don't understand the difference between down payment and closing costs. So your down payment is your LTV, your loan to value. So in the grand scheme of things, when you're asking a lender for some money, they're going to want you to have some skin in the game, right?
Yes.
And
Hmm.
so that's your down payment. That's your 3.5% when it comes to FHA. And so your closing cost is your prepaid, which is, monies that you need to be that needs to be placed in your escrow account. We'll talk about escrow account. The escrow account is basically where your taxes and insurance is held inside of the mortgage company at inside of an account, where they're going to pay your taxes and insurance once a year, so that you don't have to worry about that. That's why I tell people it's four things: principal, interest, insurance, and taxes. Insurance and taxes is in your escrow account. Anyway, so that's the prepaid. So you have to put money in that account, right? So you have to have some reserves in the account when you close. So that's a part of your closing costs. You also have fees to close, governmental, federal fees, lender, title company fees. All that is brought into what is called closing costs. So you have down payment plus closing cost equals your cost to close, right? I'm going to say that again. Down payment plus closing cost equals your cost to close. Down payment, 3.5%. I always calculate closing costs to be roughly around 3%. Yes, I might be overestimating, but it's better to overestimate
That's the
than
main
to
thing. Yeah.
underestimate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking at, again, that $300,000 house, you have your 3.5% plus your 3%, which equals up to 6.5, right? So your 6.5%, so you're looking at $19,500.
Interesting.
That's a lot of money.
So, and
But
I can see.
we're not even finished yet.
Oh Lord, it gets worse. Look,
But it's not really bad, right? And so if you look at it, that 19,500 scares people.
exactly, and that's what I was just about to say. That I could see why that could, like, oh my God, I can't do that. Like, that's just too much. So what you
Right.
gonna, how you gonna give us some relief?
All right, here we go. All right, so there's a such thing as lender credit, and in this market, you guys might think I'm crazy, but there's a such thing as seller's contribution right now. I'm seeing it every day, and I'm
And
loving it
and
because look,
not to cut you off, because I was gonna ask you about that. I be hearing people saying, "Oh, well, there's closing. You know, you can negotiate the closing costs and things of that nature." But I was gonna ask you, is that even something to consider with the way things are going in the market? You know, with everything the way that it is. So you took the words right out of my mouth.
it wasn't 6 months ago,
Okay,
it wasn't a
okay,
year ago,
but it's
right?
changing.
But the market is changing. And so you have to get with people who actually understand the market. But yes, so the market is changing. And so yes, you can get seller's contribution, you can get lender's credit, you can get down payment assistance, right? That can actually help that. Some of the down payment assistance, with the market fluctuating and things like that, they may offer it, they may not. But if you get in at a good time with a good lender who understands those programs,
Yeah.
then you'll be able to get that down payment assistance. You can get 2%, 3%, 4%, all the way to 6% sometimes.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's good to know.
And if you're looking at the numbers that I just gave you,
Exactly.
6.5% is all you
That's
need.
that's I was about to say that's majority. Exactly. And you see this, guys, for those that are tuned in, or if you catch the replay, this is why I only bring certain people on here, because I gotta get y'all with people that know what they talking about, that's gonna give y'all the real juice, the real gems. So like she said, yeah, it's gonna be about 6.5%, but someone like her, because she knows what she's doing this since she was 19, you get what I'm saying? She's going to show you all your options on how to get that back, so that way, hopefully, that you don't even have to pay that 6.5, because there's different programs and things available. So that's awesome to know. And that's good to know that the market has changed in a way where it's more favorable, so for those that waited it out, hey, that sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, right?
Well, my thing is, I always tell people when they ask me, when is it a good time to buy? Now.
Always.
It's going to always be now. And the reason why I say that is because no one has a crystal ball. There's such thing called inflation that's not going to decrease at any time. It's
That's true.
always going to happen, right? If you see in 1970, how much was a house?
Exactly. Right.
Right,
That's true.
right. And that same house now, I can just give my mom's house as an example. She purchased her house at 58. Nope, it was actually $68,000. And now, because I'm about to put it on the market, right? I can sell that house for 280,000.
Wow. Wow.
That's
Wow.
crazy, right?
Exactly.
So just think about it. And I tell people, like I say, why I say now is because inflation is going to happen. So even if you wait because you're scared of the interest rate, that same house that you could have bought for $300,000 next year may be 320, 330. And if
And
that's the case, then are you really saving?
no, so and you know, and I pity the fool batting my eyes looking to the left. Look that, you know, didn't buy like what two, you know, we were at the cusp. Like we just got into this craziness, right? In actuality, right? This hasn't been going on too long. This is only a
Right.
couple of years that
Hmm.
things have become chaotic. So again, like she's saying, it doesn't make any logical sense to keep waiting. Like
Right.
get your house. That's get your house in order. That's why we're having this show, so you guys can see. We're breaking this thing down step by step. That is not as intimidating, especially when you have someone that's knowledgeable, knows what they're doing, that has your best interest at heart. It's not as intimidating as, you know, as you would think that it would be, especially because nowadays you paying what, $2,000-3,000, you know, for a 2-bedroom
Amen.
apartment anyway.
You're paying somebody's mortgage no matter what. You're just not
Exactly. So
paying
you
your
might as
mortgage.
well, exactly, you might as well pay your own. You might as well pay your own.
Yes,
So
indeed.
if so, for those that, you know, like, hey, I'm ready, you know, I got my credit, I know what I can afford, I got, you know, got some money in the reserve. Now you say you're going to tell us about an escrow. What is an escrow account, or is
Yeah,
that
yeah. So
just a regular account, a bank account, or what is that?
yeah, so like I was saying, it was the escrow is where your mortgage company place your a portion of your mortgage payment inside of an account that they put aside for your taxes and insurance so they can pay them once a year. That's so
Okay.
people won't have to worry about, paying taxes, a lump sum of taxes at the end of the year, right? They do it for other reasons too, but I won't say. But no, seriously, that's one of the things that I think is a positive because sometimes life happens no matter what,
Yeah.
right? And so having that security, that fact that your mortgage payment actually, includes all of those things and you don't have to worry about it. Your mortgage company is going to pay for it at the end of the year. Why not, right? And so that's what your escrow account is. But I kind of want to talk about, I said find a good real estate agent, but finding a good lender is also very important. There are a lot of lenders out here that will say, yes, 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 I can do it, and then can't, right? But
Mm,
one thing that we do in this industry is we trust our individuals. We trust our partners. And when you get with a real estate agent or a lender, just make sure that they have clear communication at all times so that if anything do arises, we'll be able to address it immediately because it
okay.
happens, right? So don't be afraid when things come up. We're called problem solvers, okay? We are counselors, we are problem solvers, we're a little bit of everything. And so we'll make it happen, especially if we've seen it before, right?
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I think I would hope that, you know, the people that are listening, you know, feel a little bit more comfortable with, you know, embarking on this because, like you said, it's not even just about because you can, it's just because you should, because you can. Hopefully that somebody,
No, I get you. I get you.
hopefully
It's
they heard that in the
important.
back and they understood it. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm just hoping that this is empowering someone, you know, that may have been, you know, thinking, is it time? You know, should I make that next move? You know, so on and so forth. Like seriously, I just think that it's time, you know, like you said, to bridge that gap. Like, why aren't we taking advantage of that? So for sure, for sure. So
Just wait. I know we didn't talk about earnest money, and you did ask about that.
okay, so let's talk about it.
Okay. Please, guys, please, 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 just purchase a home, at least your homestead, because you don't want to be paying somebody else's mortgage. But earnest money. So when you get into a contract, after you have gotten all your credits taken care of, you have savings. And I'm not saying, with my last statement, I'm not saying that you will come to the table with zero funds. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying that it's a possibility that we can get that number down.
For sure.
Okay. Now, when it comes to the prepaid things that you have to pay up front before closing, is earnest money. So when we go out, we get that approval letter from that lender. We're excited. We go shopping for a house. We find one. You fall in love with the first, second, third one. Great. We're going to put offers on all three. All right. Don't be afraid to put an offer on multiple houses at the same time. It does not cost you a thing. That's what I tell people all the time. It's okay. The only time money is exchanged is when both parties sign and it becomes an executed contract.
Gotcha.
Right? But you always have layers of protection with inside of the contract. So please know that you have those things. So once your offer is accepted, let's just say one property accepted it. Once your offer is accepted, it becomes an executed contract, and from that day, that's when the clock starts. So the clock is, you have 3 days to deliver the earnest money, which is usually 1% of the sales price, but everything is negotiable.
Okay.
You also have your option fee, which gives you a certain amount of days, whatever you guys put on that contract, so that you can do your due diligence, and that money covers or protects your your earnest money. Let me say that again. Your 1% earnest money is protected by your, let's just say $200 option fee that gives you that certain amount of, let's just say 8 days to do your due diligence, which is your inspections and things like that, to ensure that you want to move forward with this particular house. Otherwise, you have the unrestricted right to terminate. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So your earnest money is 1%. Let's just go ahead and say your option fee is $200. Your inspections, depending on the size of the house, will run roughly around $400.
Okay.
Right? So you have those fees. Once that is done, you're past the option period. You say, yes, I want to move forward with this house. Then your next prepaid cost is going to be your appraisals.
Okay.
And I say appraisals with an S, but I mean appraisal.
Gotcha.
One appraisal, right? And so your appraisal run roughly around $700.
Okay. Okay. And then once you get it appraised, then at that point, are you just waiting for everything to close, or how does that process work? Because I hear, a lot of people like, I can't spend not one dime, I can't do nothing. I'm in the process of closing on this house. I can't blink, So tell us with that process, like what can you really anticipate? Like when you're about to close on a house, what is that? Is it 30 days, 60 days? Like, what is that time frame and how does that look?
When you enter into this wonderful process of the buying process, you will not be allowed to let anybody pull your credit. You don't want anything to change, because
Gotcha.
if it changes, then your whole entire profile changes, which will basically determine if you qualify or not. Right?
Gotcha.
And so with you working so hard to do all of these things that you have done up to this point, you don't want to mess that up. So the lenders, the real estate agents, they'll tell you, do not do anything. When I say anything, meaning do not use your credit card. Do not have anybody pull your credit. If you want to use cash, fine. Just don't input large deposits into your account if you cannot source them.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a lot of do's and don'ts when it comes to the buying process. But again, there's that's a whole nother conversation, right? So just don't, right? Don't have anybody pull your credit. That's one of the main things we tell everybody. Don't quit your job.
Yeah, right. Like, please, don't decide that you want to start, being an entrepreneur. Like,
don't do it, right? Don't do it. Wait till after, okay?
Mhm.
But no, seriously, don't buy a car. There's individuals that go out and buy cars. They buy a whole house of furniture because they were like, oh, I'm closing tomorrow or next week. No, don't. That
So
allows people to pull your credit.
you can't
Don't do
do
it. Don't do it.
nothing until that till you sign all them thousands of millions of papers that say finally you
The house is yours.
yes,
Right.
got you. So I wanted to ask you though, because the first thing you were saying is that the market is changing.
Yeah.
So what has changed? I know that 6 months ago it was something totally different. And it appears now. I don't know if that's why I need the professional to tell me if this is true or not. But it
Yeah.
kind of seems like that at first it was a sellers, 100% sellers. Now it seems like buyers actually have some hope now. How is that fair to say? What
That
are
is
you seeing out there in those streets? Look.
That's a great assessment, right? It's a great assessment because it was a seller's market about a year ago, 6 months ago, and it changed very quickly, very quickly. And so now you're seeing things such as, like I say, seller's contribution decreasing in the sales price. Now on HAR, because that's the only site I use, I don't use any others, mainly because other sites will allow individuals who do not have a license and they have no
Clue.
skin in the game, right? No liabilities, can put anything on those markets or on those sites and fool people, right? Deceive
Gotcha.
individuals. And I have had many clients who come to me and say, hey, is this real? And I have to do the research and tell them, no, it's not, right? So HAR is one of the sites I would definitely suggest to go look at the houses on. But with that being said, you can see price reductions, right? You can see that individuals who are putting their house on the market because they feel, not even using data, they feel like their house is worth a certain amount based off of 6 months ago. Well, the market has changed. So now things have really shifted where I wouldn't call it a buyer's market. I would call it more so of a even, a
Even
leveled
kill.
out market, right?
Gotcha.
A leveled out market. So it is transforming, or transitioning, but at the same time, you still have buyers out in this market that are seeking these low inventory properties that's out there. And so inventory is still low. It's not as high as it was a couple of years ago. We're needing more houses. But what has made this, in my opinion, right? What has made the market pretty leveled out is because the amount of buyers has also decreased because of fear of the interest rate. They're
Gotcha.
afraid of this interest rate because with a higher interest rate, you have a higher payment, or should I say, you can qualify for less house.
Gotcha. So is that something then for the real buyers, for the people that want to buy to live, right? Is that something that is they should be concerned about? Is the interest rate, the current interest rates, or
Well, let's talk about interest rates. All
yeah.
right. So, about 20 years ago, interest rates was 9, 10, 11%.
Okay.
That's a lot compared to a year ago, 2 years ago, when it was 2% and 3%, right? That was a record low for interest rates, guys. And that whoever bought in that market,
Day one.
kudos to you,
Yeah.
right? Kudos to you. But at the same time, in that market, that's when that big spike in price increases and inflation happened. So if you really think about it, right? So I do want to say right now we're right at that 6%, 5, 6, 7%, depending on your credit score and your profile, what you're receiving nowadays. But some people have the opportunity to get that interest rate down. Anybody can buy your interest rate down if you wanted to, but you have to have the cash to do so.
Gotcha.
Or you have to have the ability to negotiate with those builders, and we'll talk about them in a few minutes, to have them possibly buy your interest rate down.
Gotcha. So, now you have me curious. When you say buy your interest rate down, so literally you literally can pay cash for that, or so I'm sorry, because look, dig a little bit deeper.
Okay.
Buying your interest rate down, what does that entail? Like, what does that mean?
So if you get with the lender will tell you based off of the market price at that time how much it would cost to get your interest rate from a 6% down to a 4%.
Gotcha. Okay. And so you can literally just give them extra to decrease the, wow.
Yes.
I never heard that. See, these are the kind of gems and jewels that you gonna only get here on this show, because I never heard that ever. So literally you can buy your interest rate down. Interesting. Okay.
Yes.
So if you have now, do we got to come like, Big Bang Hank, or is it something? I mean, like, just honestly, I know that it's different for everybody, but just realistically, like, what does that look like? Is that an extra 10, 20,000? Like, what would something like that cost?
So it really depends, right? So I'm just giving you an example from one of my last clients. She was able to put an extra $3,000 down to buy her interest rate down 1%.
Wow. 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 And see, this is why, oh Lord, this is why you need to be with people that know what they are doing. Because like I said, I never heard of that in life, buying your interest rate down, but just for a couple of extra thousand, she was able to get that down. So goodness. So one of the biggest fears in this market has been eliminated because she was working with someone that knew what the heck they was doing, and they was paired with the right people.
And she had the funds to do so. The problem in our community is that we don't have down payment money. Right? And so that's why people really focus on down payment assistance programs, is because that is one of the hurdles that we had as a challenge, right? I mean, in our culture. So it actually increases your interest rate if you take advantage of down payment assistance.
Wow, gotcha. And I know that they have so many different, programs available now, but I know one of the trending programs that they were talking about was that Bank of America, program. Is that would that fall into one of those categories where the interest rate? Did you hear about that one?
Are you talking about the $15,000 lift program? That's a Wells Fargo product.
Okay. No, it was something I seen, and maybe, like I said, it's so much stuff, but it was Bank of America, but you can only buy, in certain communities and so on and so forth. And they were talking about the interest rate, like, with that particular product. So I guess in a nutshell, what you have to be cognizant of is that when they have products that are geared to us, to make sure that, they're going to help you with your down payment. They're going to make it, package it in a beautiful bow. But, what is that interest rate? What's that going to cost you? Because it's going to cost you now, or it's going to cost you later, right? Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. It's definitely going to cost. There's also stipulations with some of these down payment assistance programs where you must stay in the house for at least 3 years or 5 years, depending on what the program is. So there are stipulations. You just have to know what they are, right?
Mm-hmm.
2 programs that I do want to mention. One program, and then I'll talk about the builder. So one program I want to mention is the CLT program. Now, I'm
sorry, CLT?
Yes, I do apologize. So it is Community Land Trust.
Okay.
No, they're not paying me to talk about it, but I absolutely love helping the individuals themselves, the supermarket worker, right? Those individuals who are working hard supporting their families, but they still want to have the ability to be a homeowner as well. And so if you look at those individuals who are inside of and I'll tell you the qualifications. You have to be at a 620 credit score.
Okay.
You need to be inside or below the 80% AMI area median income based off of HUD guidelines. And you'll be able to qualify for this Community Land Trust program. In this particular program, you do have to purchase a house that is inside of the city of Houston and Harris County limits. But they're giving you $100,000 or $150,000 to purchase your house.
Wow. Wow. That's a big thing. That
It's
is a big thing.
huge.
That's a big
I
thing.
love it. So some of my agents I give, some of those clients to because they need houses too. So if they
Yes.
get approved for 150,000 in the
Wow.
regular market, 150,000 is not going to get you a nice house,
That is correct.
right? But if you add 100,000 or 150,000 to that, you
Wow.
have 250 or $300,000. Now you can buy something that you want to buy. It just has to pay taxes to the city of Houston and Harris County. Now, one of the things that a lot of people are not aware of, and sometimes I talk about this program and I forget to tell them, hey, you own the structure, you don't own the land,
That's
right?
true.
And so
That's true.
some people have a problem with that, right? Some people have a problem with that. And so I tell them, it's okay. You're building generational wealth. You're not going to stay in that house forever.
Yeah.
The land lease is for 99 years. I don't plan on being here for 99 years. Maybe you do, right? So the thing is, it helps you. It's like a stepping stone.
A step exact. And I think that's the thing that people have to realize. Sometimes we gotta baby step this thing, especially if your mama and the people that you grew up under, if they ain't never had no house and nobody around you, we all living in apartments, and like you gotta start somewhere.
Right.
So, like you said, this program, you don't own the land, but at the end of the day, who's to say that this is just not a stepping stone to get you to just to get you out of that,
Cycle.
that's
Right.
exactly the cycle. Sometimes breaking the chain is just making that first step to get out of that consistent cycle. So
Right.
that's a great point.
Right. So that's one of the programs I did want to mention before I leave. And then also builders, real estate agents out there, buyers out there that are looking to purchase new builds, if you can afford it, because these new build properties are very expensive. If you can afford it, I would suggest you looking into it, because right now they're doing major price decreases, discounts, and they're paying your interest rate down, and they're giving you incentives so that you can pay for your closing costs, not your down payment, but your closing
Some
costs,
costs.
right? And so you can walk in a house that you want brand new for just a down payment.
Wow. 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 Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing all that information. We've talked, and I think we've covered everything. Why do you want to do this? How do you start? You know, it was all broken down. So I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Thank you for taking your time, breaking all this stuff down. Even I got some more knowledge and jewels, and it's just phenomenal. So for those that want to work with somebody that actually that know what they doing, or just want to stop, I ain't gonna be biased. Look, I ain't gonna be biased, but look, if you want to at least stay in touch, how do we stay in touch with you? How can we, get in touch with you? To say somebody's watching this and they want to start that process, they want to break that chain, they want to get out, stop paying somebody else's mortgage. How do we, get in touch with you?
Call me. Numbers on the screen, right? 713-825-9139 for those who are listening, not viewing. 713-825-9139. That's my cell phone number. You guys can always call me or text me. If I do not answer, please just text me. It's fun eventually. Give me a couple of hours, right? But I have a team of individuals, so if I'm not available, other people will be available, and we have the same knowledge, right? We have the same passion for actually educating individuals on what to do, so you guys, or I should say, giving you the information so you can make your own educated decision, right?
Awesome.
And that's
And
all
if
we do. Because
and if
in this
we
day and time, go ahead.
no, go ahead. In this day and time, what?
No, in this day and time, our generation, we want to know the information before making a decision, right? We don't like people to make decisions for us. And I think that's something that's great and it's changing, but sometimes it paralyzes us if we don't have all the information to make that decision. So if you guys please just be mindful, you are not the professional. It's okay. Like, I don't go into my doctor's office and tell them what to do or whatever, right? You guys need to just listen and just trust us, because truly we have your best interest at heart, and we just want to make sure you win and everybody else wins as well.
And I'm glad that you said that, because I have been knowing Tamisha for I'm talking about for years upon years. And that is the reason why I only bring certain people on and I only advocate for certain people, because it is a trust thing. We are trusting this person with one of the most major things, in our life. So with that being said, if you can't trust that person, then you shouldn't be working with them,
Right.
because like she said, there's going to be things in the process that you may not be privy to or might not comprehend 100%, because you're not the professional. But working with someone that is, that, oh, I don't even have to worry about that, because Tamisha got my back. So that's how I'll be like, girl, I ain't even gonna trip about that part. Look, I don't get paid for that. Just tell me what to do and we're gonna do it. So
And you can attest to this. I try to lay it out to you so you can understand every little bit. Like, I really do. I make sure that people understand what we're doing, but sometimes you may not understand, or you might not have the time to. Like, a lot of my clients are extremely busy. Like, they have lives that they're living, they're going traveling, they have kids, they have husbands, they have a whole, 3-4 business. Like Miss Cat over here has 5 businesses, and you don't have time to really think about those little things. As long as I give you the important details, which I want to give you everything, but when I give you the important details, you have what you need to make a decision for you and your family.
For sure, for sure. So before we go, what I was just really trying to ask you is, give us your social media for those that just want to follow you. What is it, Tamisha?
Wells.
Okay.
Yep. So it's Tamisha Wells, Realtist, Tamisha Wells on some of the social media sites. But yeah, I believe I'm the only Tamisha Wells.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, it was a privilege and a pleasure. I thank you for taking out your time, because this woman, you talk about me being busy. This woman be busy helping, like she said, changing lives. So I appreciate that you took this time out to be here to educate. And I just pray that somebody got something from it. So thank you so much for everything that you do. Keep being great. And,
I got one more thing though.
What you got?
One more thing. So one thing, and my team always gets on me for not mentioning this. So I am the president of the Young Realtors Division of NARAB. And what we do is we focus on educating our community and our youth. All right. And so we have programs such as the Young Entrepreneurship Program, where we go into the high schools and the colleges up to age 24 and educate them about the different careers inside of the real estate industry. All right. And so if you guys are interested, we are, really promoting this. We're looking for partners and doing this because we're going into the high schools and we really want to make sure that everybody has a chance to win. And we're all about that, making sure that everybody eats. So if you want to reach out to us, please reach out to me on social media. DM me, or you can reach me at my phone number. I'll get you connected with the right individuals. It is the Young Realtors Division. We are making some moves. We do have is this a local station, or is this?
Well, we stream nationwide.
So. All right, I love it. So this is a national organization. We do have 5 chapters right now, about to roll out the 6th one. We have Houston, Chicago, LA, Memphis, Jacksonville. But if you're in Houston, I'll connect you with the right people. If you want to do something on a national level in any one of those cities that I did not mention, then go ahead and reach out to me, and I'll also connect you with my first VP or my second VP, and they'll be able to get you the information so you can provide your resources and,
we can make it happen. Teamwork. I know that sounds cliche, but teamwork makes the dream work, and that's what I'm all about. So definitely get with Miss Tamisha if you feel like you can participate in any kind of capacity, I definitely, anything that I can do, you already know I'm down. So, thank you so much for like I said, you're just phenomenal. And I just feel
Thank
blessed
you.
that you that you were able to bless this platform. So anything that I can do to help with your cause, thank you so much, and I will be there for you. So we're gonna go ahead and end out because our time is drawing nigh, but I do definitely want to get to our last segment, which with Mr. Jerome Addison, Go Fund You.
Time with my girl, Miss Cat. I just want to thank you for just allowing me to be in this presence today. You had a great vision, and that vision and that dream spilled over to me. So I just want to thank you, and inspire you to keep putting the knowledge out there to help change people.
And I appreciate that. And here we're back with another segment. Go Fund You.
Go Fund You. I mean, it's just been so powerful. I mean, because the knowledge and the nuggets that's been dropped to the people. We taught them what go. They had to. We know they had to move. They had what they done. We talked about it's not just about you,
but the people that's around you, right? So that's a solid foundation, I would say.
It is. We talked about, to add a little more caveat in there, the dreams and the goals. That's good seasoning to put off in there. It's like a big old good pot of gumbo. You get the right stuff off in there, you just can't go wrong with it.
I know that's right.
So today we're going to talk about in this segment, how to protect your foundation.
And that's some good stuff right there, because it don't make no sense for you to build up this phenomenal masterpiece and then it get washed because trouble build your foundation on sand. Foundations come and wash it away. So it don't make no sense to build it up and don't know how to protect it.
When one of the greatest things, if you learn about a foundation, what a foundation is supposed to do, a foundation is supposed to support. That is why is built first. But before that foundation is built, all of these core values, before that foundation is built, the ground is scraped out. We get all the roots out. The outer root side of it. I mean, for that foundation. When we come, we usually say, "Oh, the pretty concrete here." But then not only that foundation sit there for a while, and storms will come. That's why you have foundation repair companies. So many times we build a foundation and we never go back to step into when we see the foundation got a little crack coming here. We don't go back. So when we it's almost like getting foundation insurance. And insurance is it's an in case of we have insurance on our car in case we have a wreck. We have an insurance on our medical insurance in case we get sick. But in most cases, this is a different type of insurance that we're going to get to protect our foundation, because it's not only for us, but see the foundation repair company when it come a generation behind you.
And that's a good point, because you get that house built from scratch. The person that lived there at that moment, it ain't gonna really affect them.
That's right.
They gonna make it through maybe, whatever, couple 10, 15 years. So at the end of the day, you insurance for the next generation. Makes sense.
And a lot of times, people understand what works for my foundation protection won't work for your foundation protection.
And that's just in real life. We have people that have those beach houses and stuff in Galveston, things of that nature. They have a whole different type of insurance wise, because you could see some of their houses float, float right into the thing, but we don't have that type of problem.
And you look at their foundation. See, their foundation is usually going to be on sticks and in the air. Our foundation sitting on the ground. But if they set their foundation on the ground, what would happen? That's what reason I was. You have to look at your foundation, and you really have to know what your foundation is, because it's foundation. You have to know what that is for yourself and for your family, and what you want to create long lasting. And if it's okay to change that foundation, that's why when you buy a house, you started out with 2 kids, and then you grew, and then what you look and they added on to the house.
Exactly.
But before they added on to the house, they had to come. The foundation guy had to come and say, I can only go this far out.
Exactly.
And I can only do this here. And when you look at a house, you build a house, they leave rebar stick out the house like this. That's for a purpose and a reason. So that lets you know how much farther you can go out on that concrete without before you start having to go into the ground, because they clear the six inches, whatever it is, they cleared that out. if you want to go out further than that, you got to go back down to the root of things.
And you got to do a little bit more pruning. If you feel like you're ready to take it to the next level, you got to do a little bit more pruning.
That's right.
Or alternatively, you just need a new house.
You might need a house. And again, a blessing for you mean a blessing for someone else, because every time I have moved out of one house to the next house, I go back by the house. You know, somebody living there.
Exactly.
You know, when I sold one house, you know, so the house is not empty. Do not be afraid to move, because if you're afraid to move, you can never be a blessing for someone else. Good solid foundation is not for you anymore. Allow the blessing to go to the next person, because that's how we are a blessing to be a blessing. I believe, and not to make this a spiritual thing, but I believe that until you can be trusted to be used to be a blessing to others, you will never live in overflow of abundance.
Wow. And that's deep. So if I can't trust you with little, how am I going to trust you with much? I know that's right.
Those principles don't go together.
Exactly. And so we did, you know, talk about principles.
Yes.
And, you know, and that just all flows in, and it's with what we're talking about right now. And, you know, building that foundation.
Because certain principles are just, if they're not there, what are you going to do?
Well, I guess we'll figure that out next week.
I guess we will.
So for those that are following us, stay tuned next week. And to get in touch with Jerome, how do we do that?
We're going to do that that's going to be at jma@newsomeinsurance.com. Again, that's jma@newsom. That's NEWSOMES insurance, spelled all the way out.com. Thank you.
See you next week. All right, everyone. I hope that you got what you needed. That's all I can say. I know we had a pretty, you know, thorough conversation, but sometimes that is what it takes to get out of survival mode. So if you know somebody that needs access to this information, please share this information with a friend, with a loved one, so that way we can help one person at a time get out of survival mode. Because guess what, guys? You've already survived. Now it's time to live. I'll see you guys next time.